breaking news, there has recently been an increase in the use of ecstasy in Europe. It has gone up 84% in the last 12 months for young adults. Ecstasy is also a current problem in the U.S. Ecstasy is a drug that people often take that elevates their energy level. It is a psychoactive drug, used primarily as a recreational drug. Now over to Chimit for more information on what ecstasy actually is.
Thanks, Naomi. Yes, ecstasy is a true problem rising in Europe. While it's not nearly as common as drugs such as cocaine or heroin, it is still used often by many young adults these days. The effects of ecstasy can be fatal. Overdose can lead to high blood pressure, panic attacks, seizures, extreme increase in body temperature, loss of consciousness, and organ damage. Its most common effects are nausea, fever, a faster heart rate, tension in the mouth or jaw, or muscle cramping. Now my colleague Brooklyn is going to further explain some effects of the drug.
Thanks, Chimit. Alright, so now I'm going to explain to you the short-term effects of ecstasy. Ecstasy causes you to have an increased energy level and increased alertness. You may also experience distorted perceptions of time. And you're going to tend to feel more happy and excited than you usually do. Doesn't sound so bad, right? Well, the long-term effects may change your mind.
These long-term effects include
brain damage, depression, anxiety, insomnia, and memory loss. Now, some people try to get away from these drugs, but then they start to experience withdrawal or addiction symptoms. These symptoms may include paranoid delusions, hallucinations, or even inability to distinguish reality from fantasy. All of these conditions can be present for long periods of time even after use is ended. Someone who's experiencing withdrawal symptoms can experience social isolation and despondency. Alright, back to you, Naomi.
Thanks, Brooklyn. Okay, so now we are going to be discussing the history of the drug. Ecstasy has been around since 1913. It was created by Anton Kolisch, a German chemist who worked for pharmaceutical giant Merck. The drug was first developed as a parent compound to be used to synthesize other pharmaceuticals. The German chemical company Merck supposedly sold it as a diet pill. The company later decided against marketing the drug and had nothing more to do with it. In the 1970s, psychiatrists used the drug to enhance communication with patients during sessions. Only a few experimental therapists researched and tested the drug. Alright, let's get back to Brooklyn, who is going to talk about the medical uses for the drug.
Yes, Naomi, thank you. First, let me make it clear that ecstasy has never been officially introduced into the medical community. Now, there have been trials regarding the drug, but they were never completed. The FDA approved its first human trial for MDMA in the early 1990s to see if it could be used as a pain reliever for terminally ill patients. They were also determining if it could be useful in psychotherapy. These results have never been posted. Trials are currently being conducted on whether or not MDMA can be useful in PTSD and anxiety in autistic adults, as well as a pain reliever for terminally ill patients. It was at one point considered for its potential as a diet pill, but was never useful because of all the other negative effects it had on the body. Alright, let's kick it back over to Chimit so she can go over the legal aspects of things.
Thanks, Brooklyn. If you're charged with possession of ecstasy, your penalty will be determined by the amount you're found with. If you are found with less than 1 gram of ecstasy, you're issued with a state jail felony. 1 to 4 grams of ecstasy leads to a third-degree felony offense. 4 to 400 grams leads to a second-degree felony. And lastly, 400 grams or more of ecstasy leads to a first-degree felony. This can mean up to life in prison. The manufacturing and delivery of ecstasy leads to even larger punishments. Overall, ecstasy isn't worth it if you consider all the negative factors and complications that go along with it. I mean, do you really want to risk having to deal with things like brain damage, depression, addiction, or jail time? So if anyone ever offers you Scooby Snacks, Smarties, Happy Pills, egg rolls, fizz, or a hug drug, think twice and remember to always say no. Signing out.
Signing out. Come back at 10 for the nightly news.